Recording, and we're ready when you are.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rudy with CRMLS, and today I'm going to be talking about matrix updates. The most recent updates, they occurred back in December, so most of you are probably comfortable with those changes, but I'll talk about some details about that, and then I'll go into other kind of tips and tricks, searching techniques, or just functions that you may not be aware of in our system. So let me go and get this slide out of the way. Go into our matrix system here. So, back in December, it just has a new look, a little different shade of blue. But one of the things that was removed is a home tab. There used to be a home tab up here. That used to be the first tab. And so that's no longer there. And all the home tab did is just take us back to this home screen, whether we're in the middle of a search, looking at listings. And if we wanted to go back to the main screen, we used to click on that home tab. But now you'll just click on the My Matrix tab, and we see underneath My Matrix is home there. So either whether I click on home or just simply clicking on My Matrix, that will take us back to this main screen. Another section that was kind of moved, and the settings, the matrix settings, it used to be underneath the My Matrix tab. It used to be the last item there used to be settings, but now it's moved. So the settings are now when we click on our name on the upper right. Click on your name on the upper right, and then there are settings there. Perhaps the most common purpose of going into the settings was setting up your banner, your header. And let me just reference that. When you run a search, check mark some listings, and you go to email it to someone, and they get the email, click on a link or a picture in the email, it takes them to a screen that looks kind of like this. And again, most people went into that settings to change this background or pick and choose what information of yours you want in your banner. So again, pointing out, because now you'll do that by clicking on your name on the upper right, clicking on settings, and then you go to My Information. So this screen looks a little different as well inside the settings. So again, clicking on your name, settings, and for the banner, the header, that's in this section here, My Information, Manage Personal Branding and Options. Used to be, we used to look for a link that said header and footer. So now, but this new change of this screen, it is a little cleaner. And before, all these items were on the left-hand side, and we used to have to scroll down to get to some of these items, but now they're just there. So click on your name, settings, My Information, and then here's your information that you could have in your banner, but picking and choosing the background, here's the header and footer tab. So it shows my current one, but I can click on select a different banner to change that background if I want to. Just a quick review, how we got there. Clicking on your name, clicking on settings. First one here, My Information, Manage Personal Branding and Options, and then header and footer. Now we see that these items are not new here, but email signature, have that set up. There you have that. Another very minor change. This widget here, the My Listings widget. Of course, that's how you access your listings, or the listings you have access or authorization to make changes on. But they added this refresh. And as I mentioned, it's real minor, but sometimes in the past, if you were working on a listing, let's say you're in the middle of adding a listing, just kind of taking us to that screen. Let's say you're in the middle of adding a listing and then you saved it. Maybe you saved it, just take a break, take a phone call, but when you click on Save as Incomplete, okay, it saves it as an incomplete listing. And then in the past, actually even still currently, when you do save it, it didn't immediately show up in this section. And when I was in the middle of trainings, in order to show it, I used to have to log out and log back in. So when you save it, they don't immediately show up in here. So that's why they added this refresh button. If you click on refresh, then it will refresh it and have all the listings in, loaded up in there. For those of you that are not entirely familiar with this My Listings widget, and you might notice we can move these different sections around. That's why my homepage may look a lot different than yours. Also, don't be concerned that I have a lot more links inside my Listings widget. Since I'm a staff member, a trainer, I just have a lot of links in there. They're really just fake test listings. But if your login is set up as a broker or office manager, you will have links in there to access listings for your office because you have authorization to make changes on them. If your login is set up as an agent, you only have links in there to access your own listings. Another section that was removed, or moved rather, is on top. The last tab used to be the help tab to get to training resources and a lot of other stuff. But so the help tab was removed or moved, and you may have seen that earlier when I clicked on my name and we see the help section there. So both settings and the help are in this, they call this a utility menu. Click on your name, click on help. And in here, I'll show two sections here. I was going to say, okay, I was going to show the input forms, which I will, but also for new members or new users, I'm going to show this section. A lot of times people ask about the coverage area, or who do we share listings with other MLSs, other associations across the state, and where can we search for listings? So the coverage area, but really it's about who shares listings with who. And so this is in this help section. So again, click on your name, click on help. And then to get to the coverage area, you'll click on About CRMLS. Then you'll see a link that says coverage area. Click on that. And then you can look at it two different ways, visually on the map. And then let me go and click on that. So again, clicking on your name, help, About CRMLS, coverage area. So visually on the map, we'll click on this area map, coverage area map. And as I stated, this is just more visual, just of the coverage area. But of course, where these, every shade of blue, you have access to listings in those areas, those associations or those MLSs in those areas, share our database and vice versa. But on this map, you can't see like what city, what county is that cutting off on. So again, this is more of a visual representation. So instead, if you really want to see what associations, what boards of realtors across the state make up that coverage area, then you'll click on this link here, coverage area by AOR or BOR. That's Association of Realtors, and BOR is Board of Realtors. So we see there, the main participants, Arcadia Association of Realtors, Burbank, Downey, Fresno, Glendale. Okay, so here's the full list of the ones who share listings with us, and we share listings with them. So again, that's in the help section. Click on your name, help, About CRMLS, coverage area. Another popular item in here, maybe the listing input forms. Listing input forms. Let me click on listing input forms. Then a link with the same name shows up, and I'll click on that link. Residential income lease, whatever type of listing appointment you may be going on. Let's say it's for residential, most common. Let me click on residential. So this form has all the fields, all the features that could go into a listing. You can use this form to help you gather information and keep it organized in one place. So when you go on a listing appointment, you get the listing agreement signed, you bring out this as well because you printed it. You start gathering information for that listing. It's especially helpful as far as features are concerned. I scroll down to some of the features sections, and so there's these long lists. It's impossible to remember to ask you if you have this, you have that. So bring this form out. For some of these features, you can just look around the home and check mark off what you see. But otherwise, you'll start asking questions. You know, do you have this? Do you have that? And gather the information. Some real estate professionals leave this with the owner, with the seller, and have them go through it and mark them off, and then get that back later. But it's just a simple form that's helpful to gather information. I mean, otherwise, some people go in with a blank sheet of paper and just start jotting down notes. So obviously that's kind of tedious doing it that way. So this is nice and organized. Check mark boxes. For those of you that are maybe new to our system, new to real estate this year or in the past year, this listing input form is also helpful for you to be aware of the required information. Certain sections such as cooling, there's a red asterisk next to cooling. You're going to have something indicated for that field. So this form will indicate to you the required fields. All right, so that's the listing input forms in the help section. Other items that are kind of new, this bell, this notification bell up here, you notice when I put my pointer over it, it says view concierge notifications. So that's if you have an automatic email set up and you had set it up for concierge mode, that's where you'll be indicated, as it shows here. There's number 1 there with the red there, indicating there's some listings in there waiting for me to approve. Some of you have never used concierge mode. Some of you may not have even set up automatic emails before. Let me do a quick review of that to further explain what concierge mode is. Some of you are wondering what does that mean? So let's say we're running a search for a buyer. I'm just going to plug in some search criteria. So again, I'm just running a search for a pretend buyer here. Just making up some random search criteria. So we run the search. We're going to go to the results. Here's the current results matching. So if we want to turn it into an auto email, when we're at the search results, we'll click on save at the bottom, and then we'll see the option for new auto email, Then you add a contact name for the first time by clicking on create a new contact, or if they're already in your contact list, you'll be able to find them in that drop down. Put in a subject. But as far as I'm reviewing this to help explain the concierge mode. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. At the bottom, there are the regular schedules, whether we do daily, ASAP, as soon as possible, or there's a monthly option for when the emails are going to be sent out, these updates, updates of new listings, price changes, or status changes within the search criteria. But if we have it set up on daily, then we understand, let's say tomorrow, so I click on save, set up this auto email, and I have it on daily schedule. Well, let's say tomorrow comes along, there's 2 listings added to the MLS system that meet our search criteria. Well, the system will find them automatically, send an email to our client, our buyer automatically. They'll click on a link, picture, and they'll be able to see those two new listings. But in a scenario where you want to look at the new matches first, and you want to make a decision on which ones you really want the client to see, or maybe you want to look at the listings to decide, that it doesn't have a certain feature, or you have an idea that they wouldn't like that one. So that's the concierge mode. Because if we have it on one of these regular schedules down here, everything's automatic. You don't have an opportunity to look at the matches first, the new listings, for example. So if you do this mode, enable concierge mode, then say, since concierge mode is all about approving, reviewing the listings and approving, no longer at the bottom, it just doesn't say save, it says save go to approvals. So even though it's an initial list, I'll be able to decide which ones I really want the client to see. They're not going to get any updates until you approve the listings. So again, that's in regards to concierge mode. So you'll get an email, but otherwise when we're logged in, you see this red circle, red dot with a number in it. Just click on it, and then it'll show me who is that for, the contact. Then I click on that link. Here are the listings, waiting for my review to approve them or reject them. Now there's 12 here. This is not a real one. This is the one that I created in a class. So that's why they've been building up in here. They're all up to 12. But I can approve all 12, or maybe I check mark all of them and then I unchecked a couple. Then I'll just click on approve selected. So obviously it's only so now an email is going to be generated, sent to the client, and then they'll be able to see the 10 listings that I did approve. Let's say for whatever reason, these didn't have a certain feature that we're looking for, or maybe it's just location wise, whatever the reason, I could check mark these two. And if I want to reject them, we got the reject.
Rudy, I have a question if you have a moment.
Definitely.
Okay, Michelle Harding's asking, in the concierge mode, does the lead still have to activate the drip maybe, or is it going to automatically email the listings I approve without the client having to do a thing?
They will still have to activate or accept the first email.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so the very first email they'll get is going to be like a welcome email. And towards the bottom of it, it does tell them to click on activate. And then after that, they won't have to do anything. So the initial email still will be the same as the regular daily schedule as well.
Michelle, does that answer your question? Well, she's responding.
Yes, sorry. Thank you so much.
There she is. Good. Okay, thanks. Yeah, feel free to turn your mics on, guys, and put a question out there. Rudy, I would like to ask you to go back to the search page because I know we have several new agents on. And when you put in 3 bedrooms, you put a plus sign. Can you tell them a little bit about some of those helpful tips and so forth for searching?
Yes, definitely for new users, going through a search page. So typically, I go to the quick search, but there's 2 main search pages, the detailed search and the quick search. The quick search is what we're looking at here, designed to do a search quickly. There's not that much search criteria, even though it seems like there's a lot there. As far as features are concerned, there's just these 5 random feature sections here. Whereas when I put our pointer search, residential, click on detail. Now we're at the residential detail search. We can get very detailed and search by many features or just specific features. So now in this residential detail search, there's simply a lot more ways to search and filter by: cooling, heating, fireplace, levels. Farther down, parking features, security features, different type of views, pool types, pool features. So detail search is a lot of ways to search and filter by. But the basics of putting in criteria is the same for all search pages, all property types. We're typically selecting a status, whatever statuses you want to look for. Maybe you're searching for closed sales. Okay, we'll do closed sales. You can choose as many as you want. But let's say active, single family residence, in the city, whatever way we're going to search, we'll just go directly to that field. If they gave me a zip code or 2, I'll just go to the postal code field here and just type those in. I wouldn't have to bother with county or city. Or if we're doing it by city, I'm just going to go to the city field. I don't have to bother with county, whatever way they've asked you to search. But of course, the most common way by city. So let's say I'll type in Long Beach, multiple cities, put a comma. So Long Beach, comma, Signal Hill, comma, Lakewood, just as an example of multiple cities having a comma in between those cities. The space after the comma is not necessary. It's okay if you just hit the comma and go right into the next city that you're typing. Just make sure there's a comma in between those multiple entries. Earlier, when I did a quick search, the price point, let's say their max is 850. So I could put 850,000 and below with the minus. So 850,000, and I got the minus or the dash after it, indicating also anything below. Or if we're putting in a range, 600,000 dash 800,000. So I got all the zeros in there, no commas, just the numbers, but I got a dash in between 600,000 and 800,000. And the bedroom wise, you know, three bedrooms and up with a 3+, 2 bathrooms and up with a 2+. Maybe they want at least 1,400 square feet. Okay, I got 1,400 plus, like so. And then typically going to results, there's a search results. If we do want to see them visually on a map, and I was going to show this, and actually let me go back to criteria. And this is the way you want to go return back to the criteria. Clicking on the criteria tab. So we're back to the criteria, and then we'll make whatever changes we want to make. Maybe I decided they didn't ask me for Signal Hill, so I'm just going to remove that. So I just got Long Beach and Lakewood. So the results didn't change anyways, but so I mentioned results. We got a list, but if we want to kind of see where they're located on the map, because obviously a lot of different areas in Long Beach. So we can take a look at them on the map, clicking on the map tab. So we see where they're located. Maybe zoom in, trying to find the region or the area that you really wanted to send them listings in where they asked for. Because right here, because I did Long Beach and Lakewood, but maybe it's, you know, this Lakewood Mutuals, Bixby Knolls, and Lakewood Village, maybe that's really where they wanted to look for a home, so we can see that group right there. And I could draw a shape. Let's say I identify these are the ones in the region they really are looking in. So I could just click on this rectangle here, and I'll just kind of click, move my mouse, cover those listings, and then click. So that way it's just narrowing it down to those, I don't know, 7. And then I'll go to the results and maybe email those to them. Because obviously,
Another question while we're here in the map. Does this feature, when I send these to the client, does that map feature allow them to click on the map and see where they're all laid out as well? Any chance that's possible?
they do automatically see a map and are able to see where they're located. Yes.
Okay, so it'll show where all of them are on the map. Got it. Okay.
Another thing that's helpful when we go to this map view, whether you've been using the system for 5 years or 5 months, is bringing up the MLS areas onto the map. MLS areas, especially with Long Beach having so many different MLS areas, and if people are referencing those, or so let me show how to bring up the boundaries for the MLS areas. This layers icon here. This is not a new function, it's been there, but the icon changed. So anytime we go to this map tab, you want to see the MLS areas. So you click on this layers icon, and then I'll check mark MLS areas. So I'll click on MLS areas. So on the map, we see those different boundaries for the MLS areas. Yeah, I was just talking to an agent yesterday, and you know they have a client that's looking, they kind of want this Lakewood Mutuals area, but then they want other surrounding areas as well. But of course, I don't know what the surrounding areas are either by just memory. So you can go to this map, click on this layers icon, check mark MLS areas. Okay, the areas showed up. So we see, okay, area 30, area 6, area 7, 21, all those are the surrounding MLS areas. And it is a little tricky in terms of, if I wrote down all these MLS areas, 21, 22, like 25 here, 30, 24, and let's say I wanted to run it specifically by MLS area. So I could do that here, putting in like 22, 21, and listing all of those, the ones that I wanted. But the problem with that is that we're counting on the listing agents to have put the correct MLS area on their listings. And sometimes they put the wrong MLS area. And if they put the wrong one, then it's not going to come up in our search results. So I might run a search specifically by area, but then maybe I'll do it by city like I did, and then go to the map, go in the map here, and then just identify all the ones within the MLS areas that I want. Because any of these, even though this here is right in the middle of area 24, there's a possibility that they have the wrong MLS area on their listing. Because with our shared database, and not just the shared database, but associations, we have associations that are directly with us up in like San Luis Obispo. And an agent up in San Luis Obispo can take on a listing down here in Long Beach. They go to add the listing. They don't know the MLS area. They don't even know the streets, right? So they might accidentally put the wrong MLS area on the listing. But if we look at visually on the map, it doesn't matter what they put on it. All right, so that's that. Other searching kind of information, this function. Now we're on the quick search. And let's say I put on these parameters, right? And then I realize that I need to be more specific with, they wanted central air, let's say, or some kind of pool feature. So either the long way to do it is me to switch over and start my search all over by going to the residential detail search. But what I'm about to show, adding in a search field. You can do this on any search page. Even on the detail search, it doesn't have every single possible way to search. So any search page you're on, and you're in the middle of the search like this, and the way you want to search or a certain feature is not there, then all search pages, you can go down to the bottom and you'll see additional fields and the function to add in an additional field. So I'm going to add in like central air, cooling features. So on this quick search, it's not here. On the detail search, it is. But like here, this cooling drop down here is just yes or no. Yes or no, any type of a cooling feature. So let's say we wanted to get specific with central air cooling feature. So I go down to the bottom, click on add next to additional fields. And then you'll scroll through this list looking for what you want, but a little easier. If it's cooling features, I'm going to start typing cooling into this search field here. So here, cooling, highlight that, click on add in the middle. It moves over to the right. And then I'll just click on the back button at the lower left to return back to the search page. Since I added it at the bottom, that's where it's going to be. So now when I scroll down to the bottom, okay, there's cooling that I just added, and we can select whatever ones we're looking for. Central air in this example. So at the bottom of all search pages, you can go down there, click on add to add in whatever you're going to bring in.
Rudy, could you add cool? Because every time I have you teach, you have to show me how you do that. You know, I want to search for homes with pools, but if you don't say it a certain way, you miss pools. So you showed us a trick.
Yeah, let me bring in pool.
And then I do have a question once you get through that. I have a somebody put in the chat box.
So I'm going to bring in pool features in the same way I brought in cooling. Click on back. And then if we're looking for any type of a pool, then we could select none and then choose not. So that's going to eliminate all listings that have none indicated on them. I mean, the other long way to do it is go through this list and, you know, highlight every single possible pool type that they may be interested in. But then this is a combination of pool types and pool features in this long list. But if we were just trying to eliminate all listings that have no pool or have indicated none as far as pools are concerned, then we can do none, highlight none, and then choose not to eliminate all listings that have none indicated for the pool features. And let me take a look
I
at
have
the
a
chat.
question.
Sure.
So by you putting none and not, that means that all the listings are gonna have a pool, right?
All of them will have either a pool type or a pool features indicated on it.
So they will have a pool.
Yes. Or if they, that's kind of the theory of it. But if they accidentally just put like diving board, you know, on the listing, you know, then that would show up if they just accidentally just had one random feature. So basically eliminating all listings that have indicated as none, as no, for no pool. Yeah.
Gotcha, thanks.
Another question we have, Rudy, hold on, does the pool option include jacuzzi as well, or only jacuzzi? Do we have that in there?
I don't think so. That might be a separate
Spa?
field.
Doesn't say spa either.
I don't think so. Let me see.
Uh-uh.
We might have a separate.
You know, I think it does have maybe spa.
Oh yeah, there's a separate field of spa features. So
Yep.
that's where we would have that one. And the spa features has its own separate full list. And that one, the spa features, I have a feeling that might not even be a required field. So what was the other?
Another question that just came up while we're on searches. I have two more questions for you. One is, where do we search for new development? And then the other question was pertaining to how do we check driving distance time from one selected area to another? So maybe find the what was the other? New developments, new construction, if there's a way to search for that. And then driving distance time.
All right. Let me, now I didn't have to navigate to the residential detail search, but there's a field called property condition, which has some selections there in regards to new construction, that type of thing. But I'm going to show you another resource as well. So if we're talking about listings in our MLS system, searching here, this property condition field is not on the quick search or the detail search. So again, I would go down to the bottom, click on add, and I'll bring in one called property condition. So add that field in, property condition. And let me scroll down. And so in there, there's different items in there: fixer, major repairs, under construction, updated, remodeled. So those are some options there. There's also, I believe we have a field called new construction. I think we have a new construction field as well. Let me see if that's, yeah. So there's a new construction, when they add a listing and on this new construction field, they would be able to indicate, and actually we already have that on the detail search. So on the detail search, oh, there it is. So right up here, right next to bathrooms, so you could indicate new construction, yes, to bring up new listings that have been indicated as new construction. But there's also a resource where we have let me go back to the dashboard. There's actually two. There's this one here called Builder's Update, and there's another one called New Home Source Professional. So both of these are databases for new homes in the planning stage, under construction, completed, still in model stage. So either one of these, but this one's been around for a long time, New Home Source. If you click there and type in a city or zip code, I'll just type in Irvine as an example. We see price, bedrooms, bathrooms, criteria, then you search and it'll bring up those different builders, those different communities. So obviously, if you have a buyer, new home is an option for them. You can use this.
Can you show us again how you got there? I've never seen this before. Thank you.
So from the dashboard, New Home Source right here and Builder's Update. They're almost identical databases.
Okay.
The difference, I haven't really, the difference is supposed to be this New Home Source Professional, that was kind of created by the builders, and Builder's Update, that one is supposedly kind of put together and by realtors, but they're almost the same. Otherwise, just looking up listings, calling them up, registering your buyer with that builder, because of course, when you get to the results, you're not just going to email this to your client, and because they'll just go there. So really, any of these neighborhoods, you're going to contact the builder, and then immediately you're going to ask, how do I register my buyer with you? And then typically you're going to go there to register your buyer. That way you can secure your compensation. Otherwise, just go there. That field that I brought in, again, I was at the residential detail search. I scrolled all the way down to the bottom. I clicked on add, and I added in property condition. So that's also popular for searching for fixers. However, again, we're counting on the listing agents of those listings to have indicated that on their listing. For example, we'll do active. So active Orange County, I just selected a county. There's only 20 listings in which the listing agent checkmarked fixer. So if somebody was looking for a fixer, in their price point, whatever that may be, and so on, then I would go to the results, check mark all these listings, and email those to the client and say, okay, here are all the listings in Orange County right now, in which the listing agent has clearly indicated these are fixers. But then I would do a secondary search. Go ahead.
So fixer is actually a box that can be checked. It's
Correct.
not that the word fixer was in the remarks.
Correct.
Okay.
And so I would email these 20 and say, okay, here's the one that are actually indicated as fixers. But then I would do a separate search, a secondary search, where I'm not doing it and counting on them to have marked fixer in that property condition field. And as she brought up, searching for a keyword inside the public remarks property description. So here's the public remarks. So it's on the left-hand side, not too far away from where the city and those are. So left-hand side, public remarks. So there, we can search for fixers or certain keywords in this way. So I'll type in fixer, and notice I'm putting an asterisk before and after that keyword. And so we could do multiple. I'll do a comma, I'll put another asterisk, and let's say I'm going to do TLC is common. Nice way of saying it needs some work. And then I'll do even combination of words like needs improvement, asterisk, comma, and whatever other phrases you can possibly think of. So here, so I got an asterisk in front and behind the keyword, and I have a comma between those. And if we need a reminder of that, you're jotting down notes, you can click on this little question mark icon. So public remarks, you can click on this question mark icon, it'll bring up a window and showing how to type in there. So here's a reminder here. It's using the same example, fixer, asterisk in front and behind that. So with me searching, this is all of Orange County active, and I'm searching for listings that have either the word fixer or has TLC or the phrase needs improvement. I got 14. So some of those 14 might have been part of the 20 that we saw, but definitely not all. Let me go to results here. So these are 14. And let's just do a kind of a check to see which out of these 14 actually did indicate fixer on their listing. So I'm just going to bring in a field quickly here of property condition. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 out of these 14 actually did mark and check mark fixer on their listing. We see the other ones are just left blank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. So I got yeah, more results. So all of these listings either have fixer, TLC, or needs improvement within the property description, public remarks. The driving directions question.
Yes.
Or driving distance as far as time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to find out do we want to look for homes within a certain driving distance, driving time, like from somebody's work, or simply how long it's just going to take to get somewhere?
Ace, if you would open up your mic and give it a little more explanation, his question was, how do we check driving distance time from one selected area to another? So like if we put something in MapQuest,
Mm-hmm.
it will, you put your start address and then the addresses you're going, and then you get your directions, and it shows you how much time from this house to the next house.
Okay, so yeah,
So I don't know if you have that feature or not. I know.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
So I'm just going back to one of our earlier searches. So if we're looking at some search results and we want to get driving directions to 1, 2, or 3 of them, whatever amount, then we can check mark the ones we want to go to and then click on directions down here. So any search result, check mark, go, click on directions. It'll load up this screen here. It shows where they're located on the map, going 1, 2, and then 3. If we need to change that, maybe we're coming from down south here. We want to go this one to be the first one, and then this one to be the last one. Then we can, over here on the right, I can click on this to move it up 1. Then I'll click, now that's the second one. I'll click on this to switch that, and I think that's, okay. So we just have these arrows here to move them around, right? Now it's 1, 2, 3. And then since I changed the order, because when we first arrived at this screen here, the driving directions were at the bottom in the different times, but I did switch the order just to show how to change the order. And then I can click on directions and it'll reload the new directions turn by turn and distance,
there you go.
time. And if we want to add a starting point, whether that's your office, your home, or their home, then you can add a starting point or add a stopping address. And that's really easy to just
So
click
it is a
on
built-in map quest.
add start, type in an address, and then find, and it just add that address in as a starting point. And then once you do have those directions, then email option or print option. No option to send it to our smartphones.
Cool, nice. I didn't realize that was there. Let me see, there was another comment. Bobby has I'm a very new almost agent. Seems like all of these search results are dependent on the information inputted. So we all hoping the listing agents are as thorough as possible. So
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. That is the case. And so that we want to try to, even though a buyer or whoever is asking for very specific features and stuff like that, we if we can, we'll try to stay away from searching too detailed, and maybe hopefully, the other criteria of active single family residence, their price point, bedrooms, bathrooms, square feet, lot size is going to, bring it down enough where there's not like 50. And then even, but you can run a search doing it very specifically and then send those to them, but then maybe have to broaden that search and then taking a look at the listings to see if some of them didn't put it on the criteria, but it may have that, or maybe have to make some calls. But yeah, it's a little tricky, or it's just specific, right? Even searching by city, obviously, if they don't put the right city on it, it's not going to come up in the search result. It's all based off the information that they put on their listing. Now, somebody might be asking, okay, what does he mean, like putting the right city? And in different areas, whether it be Anaheim Hills, Tustin, North Tustin, even some places in Irvine, Lake Forest, Long Beach, Signal Hill. If they put the wrong city, then it's not going to come up in the results. In regards to, so that was, we just went over the driving directions. Any search result, check mark, they got the directions button down below. So that was, I guess that was for showing purposes. I wanted to show this. So this is a different type of option you can give to your buyers. We'll just use buyers as an example, because obviously most times they're gonna start naming off cities, or maybe they work for the post office and they know zip codes. They start throwing out zip codes to you, right? But we can search like by distance, or we can search by drive time. So that could help you stand out from other agents, other real estate professionals, where they're just going to search by city or zip code. Well, offer them, hey, you want me to search? Want me to search certain cities, or do you want me to search a certain distance from your work, or a certain drive time from your work? So if we want to do that, let's say we're doing active single family, if it's they just want a certain distance, or maybe they like Disneyland, they just want to live within 3 miles from Disneyland, then you can indicate the distance here. So this is on all search pages right here above the zip code. You choose the distance, and then you'll have to put in the address, the center point of, whether it's going to be their work address or a school address, or, again, that scenario where maybe they want to live within 3 miles of Disneyland. So you'll find out Disneyland's address and you type in that address there, and it'll automatically create that radius. So that's simply distance. But if we want to do it by drive time, which very few of you use, some of you don't even know about it, most people don't. So I'm going to go to the map, this drive time, commute time search. So you click on this map tab, and then one of those icons up there is like a car. So this one here, drive time. You click on this icon, this is at the map tab, click on this, and then you type in, for example, their work address. So I'll type in our old address of our MLS office a long time ago, like 9 years ago. We used to have our main office in Anaheim. So let's say that's their work address. And then you indicate what time they have to be there by. So let's say they gotta be there by 9 a.m. And then how long they want their commute to be. 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever that may be. And then you click on add. So you just put in the work address, what time they have to be there, how long they want the commute to be within. And then also you get to choose like what day you want it based off of, which you probably don't, I don't know which day I want to base it off, but you get to choose. I don't know, just choose Tuesday. And then we'll click on add. And then it's automatically going to create this shape that's based off of drive time. Now, there's a lot of results, and that's because I didn't put any price point yet. Let's see. 800,000 and below, 3 bedrooms and up, whatever other search parameters we're looking for. Now, the big deal, I mean, I went down all the way to 3. That's because I put in 2,000 square feet and above. But let's say it was 1,500. Okay. So active single family residence, 800,000 and below, 3 bedrooms and up, 3 bathrooms and up, 1,500 square feet and above, within 20 minutes drive time to our old work location in Anaheim, 13 listings. When we go to the results, there's the results here. Obviously, map wise, shows that unusual shape. Again, based off of commute time.
That's really cool. I've not seen this, and we've had you here numerous times, and every time there's something different that you bring to the table.
Mhm.
This is interesting. So cool.
Yeah, that
And can you do it for multiple
it's only
cities?
been there about 2 years.
Okay. The question came, can you do it for multiple cities? So this shows it's covering different cities based on the time that you put in there for the commute, correct?
Right. So yeah, when we do the drive time search, we don't even have to bother with anything on this main screen here. We don't have to put any cities, county, anything right here.
Sure.
We'll just go to the map, click on that car icon, their work address, time they have to be there, how long they want their commute to be, day you want to base it off, and click on add, and it just automatically creates that shape for us. But if you wanted to, so all of those are within that drive time that I asked for, but we could do interesting things like this. Like, let's say they want to search, within that certain drive time, which I did, but then maybe they didn't want, they wanted to be within 20 minutes of the work, but they didn't want to live in Anaheim. So they didn't want that to be part of the results. We could do that not option here. So I can do Anaheim selected, but choose not. So I'll still get all the ones. We're not asking for Anaheim, but everything else in those other cities would still be within the search results. It's odd things like that. But any final questions? And somebody asked in the chat about the recording, and she is recording it, and she'll get that to you.
Yeah, we are recording, and I just want to say thank you. We don't know what we don't know until we come to these classes. And as I say, you always bring a wealth of information. I'm grateful. I would love to get you back on monthly, if not every other month. Do we have a quick second to go to the list of the classes that you do bring for us?
Yes.
And maybe, I've had a couple comments. If you hadn't seen the chat, thanks for the info. Melanie said that's been very helpful. So I'd love to see what are some of the options, and maybe they can throw it in the chat. It's something that you would like to see us bring Rudy back for. If not in late April and maybe early May, we can get him back on the calendar. But these are your options, right?
Yes. Yeah, in a session like today, like I kind of bring up different things like this. yeah, this wasn't then formatted. The update part, I went through some updates that occurred. And then after that, I was just really like kind of just freestyling and just showing random stuff that I thought people don't know about and could be useful.
Yeah, so if there's any of these you want to highlight for us, Rudy, give a little quick, couple sentence insight, some of that are favorites or might be helpful for them. And then we can see if there's any that these guys feel they'd like to see, throw it in the chat box for me.
If as far as adding a listing, then that would be this one. This is a different name. Now, this is a new name for the add listing class, list for success. So if you do have agents that haven't added a listing before, then this is going to be extremely helpful. In regards to the automatic emails that we referenced in regards to concierge mode, if somebody doesn't know how to set up the automatic emails, okay, that's engaging clients with Matrix. And the second part of this training, we're just doing like random stuff. That was more time-saving tips.
Right.
We've gone over that, throughout the years, but not always the same people attending. So that could be still valuable for me to do again. And yeah, quite honestly, the time-saving tips class, that's like the topic that when I do it, I get the best response on.
Right.
Seeing things they had no idea was there.
And we watch the recording. Okay, you do have recordings on MLS. Ace is asking about that.
We have, he's
Webinars.
talking to me, or he's talking to you if you have some kind of recordings.
He was asking if you have, recordings that they can go to.
Yes, go to YouTube, run a search for CRMLS. You'll be able to find our YouTube channel, CRMLS TV. And one of the hottest sections right now is the Matrix how-to videos. So here I scroll down, Matrix how-to videos. These are pretty popular right now. Like
Okay, so there's just a variety of things that you can do. How to
right.
search for comps. Okay.
For comps, setting up an auto email.
Oh, okay.
Search by map tools, all kinds of different things in here. So these are all brief videos, just showing real brief. Like if we do like an auto email class, what's it called? Engaging clients with Matrix. This is only just a 2-minute video on how to run a search, turn it into an auto email, which I kind of showed in earlier, but
right.
Otherwise the fine details and full understanding of it, that would be like a full hour class that I would do.
Now the tips, we did a lot of that today, or is that more at length that we should consider that for the a future class? Because I know I've had it before and it's always been really, really good stuff.
Right. The main part that I wasn't involved, I just kind of did it briefly for myself, is me customizing this view here.
Right.
I showed in the past,
Right.
adding in a small photo, adding in other columns, removing columns from this view, and being able to save that to have it set up for what you want to see. So that would be valuable.
Okay, cool. All right. And I think before we've combined tips with something else. So I can get with you on, what we might want to look at. But I know the other one too, because like I said, we do have new agents and they're always asking, well, how do I do a CMA? Well, we've got that in there. So maybe we go with that the next class on, creating a CMA through the MLS.
Yeah, if they want how to search or actually put the comparables into the CMA presentation, then we can definitely do that class, whether we do the Matrix CMA or Cloud CMA. If they more so just want to know how to search for comps or what tools to use when searching for comparables, the how-to video on searching for comparables on our YouTube section, that's mine, and that one's pretty thorough. They wouldn't have to wait for a session just if they wanted to watch a video on searching for comparables.
Okay. Okay, cool.
But yeah, we do any class. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else before we sign off here? Any other questions, comments? We're good. Rudy, thank you as always. You are a wealth of information, and we'll look forward to getting you back here hopefully at the end of the month or next month.
Thank you, Deborah.
Okay, you take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.